We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome back into this new leadership series for how should look like the new generation of leaders. Today with me there is always Tom Lawrence, which is an expert in leadership and self-improvement. This is the second episode of our 5-episode series, and today we are going to talk about the 5 qualities that makes a leader from good to great. So welcome everyone, and welcome Tom into this live. How are you today?
Thanks, Stefania. I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm very good. It's quite late. We are out of like after the 5 p.m. So we hope that everyone are able to follow our series. But we want just to remind you that if for some reason you can't finish to watch the episode, this episode is gonna be saved automatically as a rewatch in LinkedIn and YouTube as well. So don't be worried if for some reason, you can't follow up to the end. So if you are okay, Tom, we start immediately with our topic today because we have to talk a lot.
Yeah. Right. Well, I'll start with the first leadership quality that I think a leader needs is a vision. And the reason I say that is because every team needs to know where they're going. They need to know what they need to achieve. And being a leader, you need to know what your team wants to achieve as well. So that you've got a target, you've got a goal, you've got a big picture. And the way to develop a vision or the way to grow a vision and get your team to buy into a vision is to include the team in developing that vision. And what I mean by that is once you sort of come up with your own sort of vision yourself, you, instead of telling the team what to do and how to do it, you invite the team to say, okay, so this is the vision. Like I said in our last session, where you can write the vision on top of a whiteboard and just that's the goal, that's the vision, that's the what we want to achieve. Come on, team, how are we going to achieve it? And then inspire or invite the team to give their ideas and their plans on how we're gonna get there and how we're gonna grow it. And at first, it's not going to all be perfect. Not everyone's going to like the vision. Not everyone's going to think the vision's a good idea. But when you start inviting people and giving the asking their opinions, asking their ideas, that's basically the way to invite your team to buy into the vision. And then it's not just going to be yours as the leader. Then it's going to be the whole team's vision. So that once that's sort of established and once that's sort of developing every single day, that's when you every single day you walk into work or you walk into the office and you've got the team. Everyone sort of knows what they're doing. Everyone knows what they're working towards, and then from that vision you can sort of break it up into smaller visions. Like if you've got a bigger team, you can break it up into like say certain sections. So one area of the team will work on this section, one area of the team will work on that section, but it all coincides and all works together, all comes together at the end. So it's a sort of the first thing that I think a leader needs is that direction, that sort of goal of what the team needs to achieve. And if you don't have that, then you're not really a leader, you're not really a team, you're going nowhere. So that's the sort of the first thing I think a team needs. And then, I don't know what you think, what your thoughts are on that, Stefania.
I think that you are absolutely right. So vision is definitely one of the things that is gonna make a leader great. My only question for you, because I don't want that anyone is gonna get confused about this, is who is actually deciding what is the goal at the beginning? Because based on my own experience, the major goal is taken by the directing level, and then so the directors goes to the leader and they say like, we need to achieve this goal by this date, and then the leader is going to be the person that working with the team is going to study the strategy for achieving that goal. Is the same. It happens that, I mean, based on your own experience, is going to be the same for you? Or who is the one that first of all is deciding the vision in your idea?
Well, it depends what level you're at. If you're the overall leader, the top of the tree, then ultimately it's you. But you know, if you are a manager and you have a leader above you and then they have a leader above them, then yeah, you know, your leader you'll discuss what the vision is with the leader. And again, it's not just going to be them telling you this is what we need to do by when. You know, the best leaders discuss it with the people who are within their charge. You know, they get their ideas, they get their opinions. So it's like that snowball effect that I keep talking about. It's like, so the director and the leader will talk, discuss it between themselves, come to a vision and a goal that they're both happy with, that the leader knows that they can take to the team, and you know, get their buy-in, help the team become happy with it. And it all works the same way. So once you've got the vision from you and the director, you can go to your team and do the same thing and discuss it with them and get their ideas, get their opinions, get their plans, whatever sort of comes out of these discussions. And it's not something that, you know, you just do in 1 or 2 days. It's something that you work on every single day, because like the vision, or the visions that I've had in the past, you know, they're not always 100% achievable, but it's something to strive towards every single day, and it's something that, you know, we can get there. We can do it. Now, if you think, like, for example, a Premier League football team, you know, their vision is to win the Premier League. So how are you going to do that? Well, you win every single game. Okay, it is achievable, but it's not. It's very, very rare that a team will win every single game. They'll draw a few games, they'll lose 1 or 2 games, but they'll do enough to win that Premier League title. So if you think of your own team, if your vision is to like sort of be perfect for the whole year and gain, you know, like a 100%, you know, performance or something like that, then, you know, that obviously that's achievable, but it's, you know, highly unlikely that you will get 100%. But if you get like between 80 to 100% performance in whatever it is that you do, you know, you've achieved the target. But as I say, the best way to do that is to get the ideas and opinions and inspiration from the team to do that. So it's everyone then. So when you're like your director, you've got yourself, then you've got yourself, and then your team. So you're all looking towards the same thing.
So it's always like a negotiation time where there is always a middle ground to find. At the end of the day, it's always a negotiation.
Well, yeah, it's if you want to have the whole team buy into what you say, to what you want to achieve, then you can't just sort of dictate to them. You can't just tell them like, this is the way we're going to do it, and this is what you do, and this is how you do it. You know, you need to get inspiration. You need from the team. You need the team to be motivated. You need the team to have an incentive. Like, I'm going to go. This is. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go the extra mile for that vision. I'm going to go for the extra mile for this team, because I've built that trust with my leader. I've built that trust with the team members. So it's all, it's something that needs to be worked on every single day. And building relationships, like trust is the foundation of leadership. So how do you gain trust? Well, if you have a vision, with your vision, if you gain the buy-in of your team, they're buying into it because they trust you, and you trust them as well. So it's like, trust is a two-way street. So it's like the vision is like that catalyst to sort of build that relationship with each other and build that trust, and have something to work towards every single day. And if you're all going to the same target, if you're all going to the same vision, you're all going to work better together and not against each other.
Yeah. So I think that we are moving slightly into the second quality, which is empathy and building trust. Is it correct?
Exactly. And with empathy, like if you think of like the definition of empathy, I mean, I don't have a definition like myself, but it's like putting yourself in their shoes. If you think of your team members, put yourself and look at things from their perspective. So if you go back to the vision and you think to yourself, like, how am I gonna put this to the team? Well, first of all, put yourself in their shoes. What would you think if your leader came to you with this vision? Like what would sort of inspire them? And that is basically listen to them. So with empathy, you listen to understand your people. You don't listen to reply. You listen, you understand, and then you reply. And by understanding, you sort of showing your people that you care about them. You're showing your people that they're important to you. You're showing your people that you want them to feel heard. You want them to feel cared for. You want them to trust you, basically. And when you do that, like if you anyone you love in your life, like in your family members, you trust them because they listen to you. If when you think of your parents, you trust them because obviously they care about you. They love you, and the same thing with leadership with your team is basically being a parent to them, and you're listening to them, and you're caring about them, and you're putting them first, basically. And with empathy, that's what leads into my next quality, which is responsibility. And by taking responsibility for your team, that you're putting them first. You're sort of putting them before yourself. You're putting more importance on them than you are on yourself, which is exactly what a parent would do. And the sort of similarities between being a parent and being a leader are very, very, very similar. And the qualities of what a parent has and what a leader has are very similar as well. And with taking responsibility for the team, if things go well within the team, then you give the team credit. If you achieve what you set out to achieve, then it's obviously the team that's achieved that. It's not you. But if things go wrong, then you can't blame the team. There's no blame culture within a great team with a great leader. You take responsibility for things going wrong. It's my issue. It's my problem that I need to solve with the team, and I need my team's help to solve this problem, so that we go from things not going well to things going well, or going better, or improving. So you don't blame anybody. It's nobody's sort of like one particular singled out person's fault. It's the whole team's problem that we all need to solve together. And that's what taking responsibility for your team is all about for me. And that's what, like, empathy and responsibility sort of intertwine with each other. The sort of the kind of a similar thing, but obviously different, if you know what I mean.
To me, like they are not really the same thing. They work like one next to each other, so they move in the same direction. But to me, like empathy, it's more like understanding the bad and the good emotions. So like what to trigger the person and what at the same time are going like the blind spot and their strength. While responsibility to me is just like allowing, like giving them ownership, and at the same time allowing them to make mistakes, which is something that I barely can see it. Usually leaders can't accept any kind of mistakes. But my idea, like when you make your people accountable, so responsible for something, and you allow them to make some sort of mistakes, because of course we can't justify any kind of mistake. We need to have mistakes which are controllable in a sort of way. Every time that I have allowed my people to go wrong, they were learning. They never had made the same mistake once more in the future. And they just have improved so much in the performance. So to me, like they are kind of one the step or the other, because in the first one, with the empathy, you ask and you try to understand who I have in front of me, and you try to ask them, tell me something about yourself in a way that I can understand how you can help me. And then the second part, you just build like your monster. I like to call them monster. And like well, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, allowing your team to make mistakes. I mean, as you say, it's the best way to learn. You know, it's you can't look at mistakes or failures as, you know, excuses to give up on something, or you know, if people make mistakes, you can't punish them for it. I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand where you're coming from. You know, I've been punished for mistakes before, and
I know, because right now, like the old way of being a leader, which is like people are not allowed to take mistakes, and if they take mistakes, they might just lose their job and things like that. But the problem is that if people keep using this type of leadership, their team members are, in my experience, because they are not feeling sure about doing something which is out of the comfort zone, if I may say something like that. The reality, just like they prefer to not take any steps because they got freezed by the fear. So, as I said earlier, I do not want to send out the message that every kind of mistake is acceptable, but there is mistakes and mistakes. So I want my people to do mistakes, controllable ones. I want to think in my leadership that there are going to be some downs, in a way that there can be also some ups, because I want to strengthen my team. And I really do believe that mistakes, controllable mistakes, are the key for that. And this is coming only by giving responsibility to them, giving them ownership, which is gonna even help the founders or the leaders as well, because it's just gonna, in the long term, it's just gonna decrease the pressure and the tasks that those people have to do, because we are just delegating someone else in doing those tasks, which is great, and it works perfectly.
yeah, I mean, what you're describing there is empowerment. You're giving your people, you're empowering your people with, you know, basically giving them the responsibility to take ownership and you're giving them the power to sort of go their own, work towards the vision as we discussed earlier, but to go their own path and sort of do it their own way. But as you say, make controllable mistakes. Yeah, I mean, if they make obviously catastrophic mistakes, then obviously that's not acceptable. But
Of
giving
course.
them the sort of own or the freedom to make mistakes that they can learn from and keep moving forward and keep moving towards that vision. So that's another quality that we could sort of say as well, is empowering your team. Basically giving your team your power, sort of putting them in the position of leader. Because that's the best way to grow your team, is to create more leaders within your team. And that's what I was saying before about having like little sections of the vision that, one person can lead that bit, one person can lead that bit, one person can lead that bit, and you can, create more leaders, and then they can create more leaders, and then they can create more leaders, and, create that snowball effect, which is exactly which is the next sort of quality that I wanted to talk about, was leading by example, which is what I've just described, is sort of, you tell people what you want people to achieve, and you tell them what you're going to do, but you actually go out and you do it. You show people what you're doing. You talk your talk, but more importantly, you walk your walk. You show people like how the sort of, through your example, to inspiring them to follow your way, and sort of do things in the team in the way that you've sort of set out as the leader, basically. Because if you don't have followers, you're not a leader. And the best way to gain your followers, the best way to inspire people to follow you because they want to, not because they have to, is through leading by example and showing them how much you care about them, showing them how much they mean to you, and sort of putting yourself in the front and sort of saying to people, come on, follow me, not standing behind them saying, you go and do it that way, saying, come on, follow me. And that's probably one of the most important leadership principles ever, which is leading by example.
So by example, you mean that during your leadership, you need to say something like, when I had already faced this challenge, I had acted in this way, and the way A just bring me there, which is not where we want to go. So the second time I went to the way B, and the way B bring me in this condition, which is exactly where we want to go. So this is what actually you mean by saying leading by examples, or you mean something different?
Well, what I mean is, like, if I think in terms of where I'm from, like the engineering industry and the rail industry, like I've worked in a lot of depots, like railway depots, and my teams that I've worked with have worked on the shop floor, and they're maintaining the trains. So it's like actually going to the team and being there with them, showing them that you're willing to be there with them, not just sit in the office all day. Show your team that you want to be around them, that you're listening to them, you're talking to them, and you're being a mentor and a coach at the same time. You can give them examples of what you've done in the past, which is your sort of mentorship, but also one of the best things that a leader can do is ask questions, and especially open questions with the team, and say, what you've done so far, like, how do you think you could have done that differently? Like, how do you think you could have improved that, or something like that? Like, you've worked on that train there, we haven't got the maintenance up right to where we need it. So how do you think we can do that? How do you think we can improve the performance of the wheels on the train? How do you think we can improve the performance of the doors opening on the train and keeping them from failing? What's your ideas on that? Like, sort of asking them those types of questions is basically showing an interest in what they're doing, and showing that you're willing to listen to them and get their ideas, and then taking their ideas, putting them into a plan for them, and then saying, look, here's the plan, but all these actions on the plan all came from you guys, but I'm willing to put these into a plan. I'm willing to go to my leaders and say, this is the plan that came from the team. And that's one of the best ways I've sort of shown my team that I'm leading by example, by listening to them, but putting a plan together for them. But every single action in that plan is theirs, that they came up with. It's not mine. And that's basically the best way to sort of gain your team's buy-in to what they're doing, gaining followers, inspiring them to follow you because they want to, not because they have to, because they're in a job or they're getting paid for it. And empowering them by saying, look, you've come up with this idea, we're going to do it, your way. How are we going to do that? It's sort of being there for them. It's showing them that you're willing to, you're listening to them. You've got their back, basically, making them feel wanted, making them feel a bit more powerful than they did before, making them feel part of a team, making them feel like a leader themselves.
Yeah. I think that this part is just somehow connected with empowerment, because I have read a few books, and the main concept is kind of always the same. So if we think when we are a child, we all want to be like singers, Hollywood actors, or whatever, and no one wanna actually to do like the basic roles. But in reality, like, society just requires also those roles, and there are people that actually loves those basic roles. So the question that I was reading was just like, how did it happen? And the truth is just that based on some experiment, I don't really know if it's the right word in English, but they have tested a few people, and they have seen that when someone finished their high school and really doesn't know what to do, and so they're gonna start whatever job just because they do not want to do university. The point is that many times those people do not have any expectations, because they already know that they are not becoming like a Hollywood actor, so they really do not like the job. But they do one single task and they achieve the goal, and all the studies just show the same result. Once they achieve the goal, and the boss just goes to them saying something like, you have done a really good job, well done. What's happening is just like in their mind, they just start to believing that they are good at something. And because they are good at it, they start slowly liking that job, and they start moving forward. They want to do more. They want to discover the next task, etc., etc., etc. And in a X time, what is happening? Just like they really love the job. They really want to keep on going in that direction. So this is, in my idea, an example of inspiring people. In a certain way, you make them feeling good for the work that they are providing. And when they feel like good, they feel like they have some kind of satisfaction, they can't come back home and just go to bed after dinner thinking like, I have done what I was supposed to be done, so right now I'm relaxed. I think that is the most powerful things that could happen in leadership.
Yeah, definitely. And making people feel good. I mean, they might not know exactly they might not remember exactly what you said to them, but they'll definitely remember how you made them feel.
Exactly.
And making your team feel great is the best way to inspire them, the best way to gain the vision. I mean, there's a guy in one of your comments there. He's just said, something that Are the times when a leader does something that isn't in the popular opinion of the team and at the end leads the team to great achievement? Yeah, I mean, as I say, that the vision, it's not always going to be popular with everybody, but you still discuss it with them, you still talk to them about it, but understand why it's not, they don't like it, why are they not happy with the vision, what would make them happy, like how could we change that vision to sort of make them happy. And obviously if they say something that's totally outrageous, you can't do that, but you as you say, you discuss it with them and you listen to them, you make them feel good by saying to them, okay, we'll do that then, I think that's a good idea. And then when you put into action the idea and it goes well, imagine how good they're going to feel then, because this was my idea, oh my goodness, I feel so good. And as you say, they could be doing one of the simplest jobs in the world, but if you make them feel good because they've achieved a task and you do it every single day, I mean, even when they make mistakes or they don't do things well, but you say to them, don't worry, you can learn from that. How do you think you could have done that better then? What do you think you could have done differently? Rather than saying to them, why did you do that? Please, why what's wrong with you? Like things like if you say to them stuff like that, you're going to make them feel very, very bad. You're going to stress them out. I mean, I've had bosses who spoke to me like that before, and it really does. It makes you very, very frightened. It makes you very, you go home and you say you have dinner with your family, and then you go to bed. You can't sleep.
Yeah.
And you don't want your people feeling like that. And even if
You
things
want
aren't
them
going,
to.
yeah, exactly. You want them what you've just described. Then you want them feeling like that. You want them feeling great. You want them. You treat you. I've got like there's this saying where you develop your people so they're good enough to leave, but you treat them well enough so they don't want to leave. And the way to do that is basically what you've done. What you've just described is once they've done a good job, you tell them, make them feel good because they've done a good job. Even if they've done a mediocre job where they could have done it better. So you did this part very, very well, but see that bit there, how could you have done that better? What do you think you could have done differently? So you're not saying to them you've done something bad. You're just saying, how could you do it better? You're gaining more out of them. You're sort of helping them push themselves. Because not every day you're not going to be perfect every single day. And the best thing to do every single day is be better than you were yesterday. Keep pushing yourself, keep getting better. And the way to do that as a leader is to keep telling people you're doing good, but what could you have done better? What could you have done differently? Tomorrow, let's try this. What do you think? And being encouraging, doing your best to inspire them and motivate them, and making them feel part of the team, making them feel like we're going to achieve something. We're here to do something. We're not here to get paid just to get paid. We're here to work together and be a team. Let's, as you say, like a movie star or a footballer or a rock star or something like that. They all feel great. Sometimes they don't. They get paid a lot of money, but sometimes they don't. Sometimes the record company or the movie company or whatever will give them a load of stick, just like the way you would in a normal job, and they'll feel terrible. But that's just life, isn't it? But the best way to get through it is to be that leader who inspires the people, to be that leader who motivates the team, helps the team develop themselves, helps the team grow, and that's the best way to lead.
Yeah, which also bring us to the fifth quality, which is gonna be reinforcement. So my idea is just like keep repeating the same action. Just do not do something good one day and then the day after you just act in a different way, because this is just gonna make people confused, and it's easier to follow like a negative emotion than remembering the positive one. So it's good to be like realistic. So you can't be great one day and then the day after you're gonna be like someone that is supposed to be hated. You need to keep be great with yourself. You need to be great in what you're doing, And then my idea is just gonna bring us to one of the next episode, which is gonna to be like loving yourself. So you can just do reinforcement. You can just keep doing it, your job day after day, only if, as Tom is keeping saying to us, you are just trying every day to become the better person or whatever you were yesterday. So you always need to improve yourself. You need to become better, not worse. And this means that you can't fake. You can't just wear a mask up on your face. You just need to be real. So you just need to have an alignment between yourself and the role that you're showing up in front of your people.
Yeah, exactly. Be honest.
Absolutely. Yes, be honest. Okay, we are 36 minutes. Do we have other questions or only the one that you read? No, I have a few hi from YouTube. Hi, everyone. So do you want to add something or we are gonna just meet in the next episode, Tom? The show is yours now.
No, I think we've covered quite a lot in today's session. I think it's been good. It's felt. I mean, I feel good talking about it. It makes me feel good to talk about these things because we know that it's so important, and
Absolutely.
you know,
So
and then yeah.
Sorry, just to sum up, the qualities are vision, the first one. The second one that you mentioned was no, leadership was the first. Second was empathy. Then accountability or responsibility. Leadership, so like leading as well. And then the fourth one is going to be like repeating the action, so reinforce your vision day after day.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Perfect. So let me double check the comments. 1 second. No, we have a reply to everything. Okay, so we have next week our third episode, which is going to be the last live for this 2025. So thank you so much, Tom, for being here. If guys, you are just watching this video as a replay, please feel free to contact me or Tom if you have any questions. We are going to be available on LinkedIn, so just feel free to send us a LinkedIn DM privately, and we are going to be more than happy in replying. Or you can also leave us a comment always on LinkedIn below this video, tag us, and we are just going to come back to your questions. So for this Life is Everything, we are just going to meet next week for our 2025 session. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching the replay, and see you next week. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.